Welcome back to Let's Play Deathmark. I've finally done it. Done what, you may ask? I finally have Audacity on the regular hard drive now because... Well, it's not that it... Well, it did, technically. The external hard drive I had it on stopped working randomly. But then, after I restarted, it was working again. Either way, I was kind of getting tired of, how annoying the lead for it was and having to connect it each time I do a record session, so this makes things easier, and hey, I don't have to worry about like slightly nudging the external hard drive and it just disconnected randomly, so I can kick back and relax a bit. So welcome back to Deathmark. It's just like, okay, silent, just looking at all these other save files, I'm like, a bit confused there. Why does it just say Deathmark Rolling? Is there an option? No. There is no option to name the save files here. You think they would, because it's confusing. Very confusing. So far... There... Huh? There's a door over there too. It looks like it goes to another room. Don't tell me it's the controller acting up, is it? Oh. Anyways. So, obviously, because I uploaded the previous part yesterday, nobody has commented who should die. But I don't think any character is going to die in this record session. It's just 2 parts. I imagine it'll take a little longer than that to get to the end of the chapter, where the potential for death is there. The wall near the window is burnt. There must have been a fire here a long time ago. Nothing else? Alright, much to note then. Don't left surf room. It's kind of cramped in here. Is this a storage room? Seems to be. Hopefully there's something useful in there. Well, in here. Whatever. Cardboard box on top of the cabinet. I think I can reach it. Something written in the marker on the side of the box. Lost and isn't legible, but the rest of the letter is lost much. Well, it's obviously lost and found. Reaching up, I grab the box and look inside. A lipstick, red pen, and a ghost. Good job, mister. I knew there was a reason you were tall. I open the glass door and check inside, but there isn't anything that catches my eye. Looks really old. The corners of the doors are rounded off. I pull on the door, but it just rattles in place. Looks like it was open. Something stopped it. I think it's a school journal. The paper is deteriorated from age and bugs, so I can't read it. Door cut into the floor. Is it some kind of storage area? It's well built or big enough to fit an adult fit. Metal handle is retracted into the door. Try to get a grasp on it and pull it out, but I'm unsuccessful. I forget. There's definitely a way of getting this open. I don't think this would be the trick, would it now? Okay then. If I use the letter opener, I might be able to pop the handle out. Let's go up down by the door. My mark bites into my wrist again. Almost like it's trying to stop me from searching under the floor. I stand up, pretend to be calm. Okay, that's worrying. Something dangerous must be here. What's wrong? You going to see what that is? I'll check it out later. I keep my reply vague as I dust off my knees. Let's look around the room first. I mean, I already did. There's a bunch of interesting stuff in here. There's definitely something beneath our feet. We better make sure we're prepared before we go down there. Let's use something in the hole for the screw. The key itself seems to have gone missing. I don't see it anywhere. What's this? Something stuck in the hole for the screw. Seems that wooden thing works as a lock. I'll have to do something about that to open the door. I got the letter opener. If I can shove it in, I might be able to pop out whatever's stuck in the hole. It's a very useful item, this. So far, that's the idea, at least. But nope, never mind. It won't fit at all. Knife's too big. I remember now. We do have a pen. A red pen with a good gap on the side. The gap is missing, but the ink isn't dry yet. So it can still be used. And it can also be used here. Use the pen, I might be able to pop out whatever's stuck in the hole. Wow, you got skills. Is it that surprising? Anyway, I need the focus. Suddenly, the resistance vanishes and the pen pokes all the way through. I put my hand on the door and slide it open without any issues. There's a red tube inside. A flare. Flare? What's that for? It's a signal light for emergencies. It's a good idea to always have one in your car. Okay then. But... oh, we picked something up off the floor. It's a thorn about as long as my pinky finger. That's what was in the hole. That's not a coincidence. Okay, yeah. I bet he didn't want anyone to have that, so he put a thorn in the hole. Is he scared of this? We both look at the flare again. Huh? What? Why'd you turn off the lights? That wasn't me. I didn't turn it off, it just went off. Oh, what was that noise? Hey, mister, what was that noise? Shh, be quiet. It's a struggle to not yell with my nose on edge. I hit the flashlight again. Come on, please. The batteries were just working. I feel like I'm performing CPR. Finally. Got it. The door behind me warps, threatening. My mouth burns in pain. Death is already in the room at the door. There's no time and nowhere to run. Calm down. Find a way out of this quickly. We're running out of time. Which is fine. We've got to hurry. Well, we've got no choice, do we? Take out the ladder open and shove it in. I might be able to get the handle out this way. When I touch his metal, my mark up the scorches. Stop moving for just a second. But I have to do this. Yes, I got it. I grab the handle and lift up the trapdoor. Like the dark hole leads down under the floor. Get in. I shove my way into the hole. Then I slide down into the bottom after. Yeah. I fell unexpectedly far, hitting my back against something. I grit my teeth to stop myself from yelling. Something shuffling around above my head. If we had to stay there just a few more seconds. I grip my burning wrist with all my might. Must endure the pain for now. I can hear anxious panting. Oh, he must be right next to me. They're shaking so hard I can see it from the corner of my eye. Yay! I brace myself, expecting the trap door to break open in a second. But the shuffling noise finally grows distant. Is it okay now? Yeah, I think it's gone. Suddenly my wrist isn't hurting anymore. Thank God, I thought we were done for this time. Anyway, where are we? How the hell would she know? What in the world is this room? But you know, that's just a genuine question to yourself as well. Where the hell are we? It's like you're not really expecting anyone to answer that question. Surprise, this place exists beneath the school. Can you turn on the light? Yeah. I cautiously press the switch, being careful not to make any noise. Ooh. Scene captured in the light of a flashlight sends shivers down my spine. What? Lois slaps a hand over them. For a few moments, all we can do is stare in silence. A disturbing scene, more horrible than anything I've seen before, spreads out before us. Anyone would be shocked by it, especially a kid. I take a deep breath and look closer. There's something twisting around the corpses. Looks like some kind of plant vine. Of those roses. There's strangely sharp thorns on the thin red petals. You know, say every rose has its thorn, but that's a lot of thorns. There appears to be real, live roses covering the corpses and carpeting the floor. My vision suddenly grows dim. It's like, why? I remember, like, a couple of the previous parts replied to a comment on the first part, like, kind of jokingly going, you know, with Cyanide and you haven't, like, there was a brief bit of nudity there that says, it's like, this one isn't gonna have any surprise nudity, is it? Well, kind of. No nipples, though. I mean, Manly Badass Hero didn't, you know, censor any of the CGs. So, I assume it's good enough for YouTube. It's like, yeah, it's a bit suggestive, but hey, there's no nipples. It's kind of, that rose has got you covered. See a woman's body trapped by roses. And you know, the thorns, you know, the other side covers. Yeah, it's a bit messed up. What is this? Some really messed up bondage? I don't know. Well, I do know what it's all about, but I'm not saying. We'll find out in due time. Sort of. Tragedy that happened in this room. As if it's all playing out in my head. I can see it. So he's kind of just seeing a flashback for some reason. I can't remember if it ever gets explained, but actually, yeah, it might. That's not the only, you know, sort of nudity in this game. There are a few other, you know, suggestive CGs like that. That one's probably the most suggestive of them all, though, because I don't know. Roses, what are they doing here? Did someone plant them? Oh, its voice brings me back to reality. Yeah. I mean, we saw what happened to the god. I don't think anyone planted those. I can't tell him that I saw some waking dream. I scrambled to remember the conversation. That's right, so the rose vines, yeah, it's got to be it. It's like they just spring up on their own. Yes. Why would anyone do that? Did someone decorate the corpses for some kind of reason? Or did they die captured by the roses like I saw in that vision? Eek! Can you imagine if I was a voice actor and I put in such shitty effort like that? The voice acting the character go, eek! It's like that wouldn't even be like good enough for even the most low quality animation programming. That's just terrible voice acting. Lois screams. What's wrong? Something moved. See? Over there. Back in there. No. Is something hiding in here? Let's look around first. Dried up corpse. Well, it's twisted in an odd position as if it's still in pain even now. Hesitantly search the corpse, but I don't find anything. Well, it's twisted in an odd position as if it's, yeah, it's the same thing for all these. Only one of these actually has anything. But I'm gonna search them all anyway. Saving the one that can actually search for last. Which is this one. I will search corpse. Something flashes between the vines by its feet. Got round a hand mirror. Looks like a gift for a young man. A woman, I should say. A mirror? Guess someone was here after all. There's a bit of a metal pipe frame. That is completely discolored, stained with something that looks like sweat. Someone must have been living here for a long time too. The mattress is oozing dark, dirty water. It smells like sewage. Slide the mattress over and find a plastic sheet underneath it. A vinyl sheet. It's pretty thick. Was it put there to protect from water damage? And this is some, straight up adventure game kind of logic here, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you find this old sheet, and it's like absolutely disgusting. And you're like, I'm gonna keep that. You never know when you might need it. You think, was it there to protect from water damage? Well, it did a terrible job then, because it's all wet. Oh well, I suppose it absorbed some water, so it didn't get on the bed. Maybe, I don't know. The machine is pitch black. At first glance, it looks like it's covered in mold. When I spread it open, it crunches as dark red flakes fall from it. This is blood. So is raining blood? I can't do anything but whisper, dumbfounded, as I stare at the blood-stained sheet. Something murmurs in my ear as if in reply. Their blood denies him. Part of me takes the voice seriously. I'm clearly hallucinating, but for some reason it calms me down. Still on the days, I shine the flashlight onto the bed. There it is again! Something's there! Oh, his voice has gone very shrill. Then... Hey now, give me a break. I'm no monster, I'm just a regular human being. Something slowly climbs out from under the bed. It's a man in a trench coat. Person, what were you doing under there? The man looks bored. He scoffs. Same as you. I ran into that monster and escaped down here. Then you guys came. Yep. It's just I gotta keep bringing up manly badass heroes. Let's play this a couple of times throughout this Let's Play. But one thing I must say is, while he just kind of acts the characters kind of similar, I feel like his voice for this guy fits perfectly. And his voice for the protagonist in the sequel, Spirit Hunter NG. It just perfectly suits the character. Man turns his back to us and jerks his chin. Anyway, I was hiding over there. His answer is believable enough, but why is he at this school to begin with? Presence raises a lot of questions. The man tilts his head a bit and peers at me, then he snorts. Seems he's seen through me. You don't look like you believe me. Guess that's only natural. I haven't told you everything I could, but... The man looks around at his feet. We better get out of here first. We shouldn't chat at the crime scene. I think you're right. Oh, it seems to feel the same way. Let's head back for now. You have somewhere to go back to. Good. Then let's get going. The man puts his hand on the ladder. He pauses and turns to us. The name's Satoru Mashida. I'm an ex-detective. Forgot to mention that. The man named Mashida disappears up the ladder. We follow him back up to the first floor, but when we emerge, he's not there. Hey, take a look at this. Mashida's calling. Oh, take a look at this. It's like I forgot that's his line. Mashida's calling us from down the hallway. It's kind of confusing because their name isn't with like above their dialogue. It's just like this when you guys came through. Oh, it pipes up, the voice slightly wobbly. No, it wasn't. It wasn't like this at all. Someone's been doing some redecorating. Something's creeping along the hallway. There are rose vines. Thought so. I didn't see them before either. The Mars color grows more vivid. Early dawn, a few hours left until death closes in. Kinda get the same thing in the sequel with like a system that comes in place. It's like, you've only got so long left to live. So you must, I mean, it's not like you can really be like, I'm gonna speedrun and get it done. No, you just go at your own pace and make the right choices. But it has a similar thing in that as well. But it gives you a few hints of sorts in the sequel on that. They aren't really necessarily hints. I mean, you probably would have pieced together the information. Well, maybe not. Kind of give you cryptic hints of sorts. Some people naturally put others on guard, even if there's no particular ill will between them. It's exactly the type of person Machi is. There was some dialogue before that. I was like, that was just kind of random. To start the scene. Oh, you've got some nice stuff. The moment he climbs in the car, he makes a grab for my bag. Then he starts inspecting all of my stuff. I wasn't planning on keeping a constant eye on him. He's making it very hard not to. No, it seems like the type to stick her nose in everything. She's suspiciously silent, as if exhausted. Are you okay, Lily? Oh, yeah, just zoning out, I'm fine. She doesn't look fine, but... well, the passenger is more of a concern right now. So were you at the school because you were investigating something? I'm not on the force anymore, just poking around for my own concerns. Something I wanted to check. I don't doubt what he says, but that would mean he entered the school illegally. What were you? I mean, if you think that's bad, you should see the sequel. All of them, well, not all of them, Most of the main characters are bloody criminals, man. Let me ask you one thing first. Should I interrupt my questions and points to your arm? Yeah, that arm that your CG keeps repeating, does that hurt? It didn't take him long to spot the mark on my wrist. Sometimes. It hurts the most whenever I'm in danger. Huh, is that so? Ashura leans back in his seat, satisfied. I was investigating some missing people. Yes, he's responding to my question now. That school came up in a number of missing persons cases. Each one had some affiliation with it, with HL rendering before they disappeared. Teachers, workers, people in the PPA, students and their family members. I was looking for them. Then, Rose speaks up from the back seat. But those people were corpses down there. She doesn't sound as energetic as she usually does. Did something happen after all? I don't know, seeing, some corpses covered in vines and roses, I think that's a bit of a shock. Is her mark. Or it could be that, Ashura doesn't reply. Maybe he thinks the answer is obvious. Or maybe replying to a kid isn't worth his time. But something bugs me about what he just said. The school was clearly suspicious there. Of course I brought it up to my superiors. All I got for it was... He continued before I can ask, making a slashing motion across his neck. Got fired, huh? Disciplinary discharge. Something about sexual harassment. That principal's gotta have some kind of political. I probably dug up something he didn't want for getting out. That wasn't my plan. I never meant to uncover anything good. True, the school did have that suspicious room. It's not that strange to think it would come up in some missing persons cases. That would be common sense. But common sense is for the world of the living. Spirits might have something to do with these cases. With those cases, these cases, each case. There's an awkward silence. In that sense, this isn't even a case anymore, is it? Mashiro sighs deeply. Who would believe this? Who would believe that there's a monster in that school killing people? It's personal now. Our problem. And we're on the way. He turns his wrist over and shows it to me. The skin is the familiar mark. You too. Yeah, I sensed it as soon as I saw yours. Had a feeling this would be a problem. We're in the same boat, you and I. He has good instincts. Well, he is an ex-detective. We should talk more when we get back. Cujo mentioned there's some... I stopped myself from finishing my sentence. I shouldn't mention that. But anyways, once we get back, we'll give you more details. Yeah, I'm sure that'll help him a bunch. Yeah, I'm sure that'll help him a bunch. It's just like... Yeah, he's referring to himself like that. He's like, him as in me. Yeah, that makes sense. Seriously, I mean, like I said, in the sequel, they actually have their, name above their dialogue, but they don't in this game. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't even need it most times, because it's like, you just go somewhere with one character, but sometimes you'll get, like, 3 characters in a scene, you know? And if it's like this, where it's not having them appear on screen, it can be a bit confusing sometimes. Mashida Scott. Hell, huh? You're underestimating me. When I get out of the car, someone's there to greet me. Welcome back, mister. You too, Miss Moe. I'm glad you're unharmed. Did you find any clues about the spirit? What, so there are others. This is everyone. Huh, what a reliable group you've got. Sarcasm is practically dripping off his words. So, are you all planning on continuing the search for that key or whatever it is? We don't have anything else to go on. There's no other choice. I don't understand you. The source of the mark is the spirit. It would be best to destroy the source, don't you think? What do you mean? The spirit exists, so all you have to do is kill it. Are you serious? Of course he's serious. He doesn't exactly look like the joking type. Despite his sarcasm, even if we manage to kill it, will that really make the mark disappear? When I consider everything Mary's told me, it doesn't seem like it worked that way. Even assuming it did, we have a more fundamental problem. How do you plan to kill it? I'll figure something out. If something exists, there's logically a way to destroy it as well. He claims he can kill the spirit, yet he doesn't even know how he will do it. Where does all that confidence come from? Don't forget, I faced him once already. If we're seriously thinking of killing him. Mashida grasps his wrist. The little shit shot some kind of thorns at me from a distance. They hit hard enough to stick in concrete. There's no way to get in close to him. We have to make that a priority. Mashida pulls something out of the heel of his shoe and tosses it at me. It's a thorn, curved like a fang. The only reason I'm still breathing is because I was lucky. It won't happen next time. We need a plan. As we head to the entrance, I tell Mashida about Kujo Mansion. Takes it all in silently. Even bringing up the talking doll or Saya, Kujo's death doesn't trigger a reaction. He's so unnervingly calm. Is he so unnervingly calm because he's already dealt with the supernatural? We reach the main hall, which is warmly lit. This is a strange mansion, but for some reason I feel like I've come home. Nation is kind of terrifying. I don't know why a villain pronounced the word. I know the word. It's just struggling to pronounce it, so it's good. Lord Yashiki, the band is a mark bearer too, I see. Would you make the introductions? Update Mary on our investigation and the strange way we met Master. The mirror, the underground room full of corpses, the sudden appearance of roses. I really hate to admit it, but it's clear something supernatural is at work here. I'm curious. Probably not, though. Oh wait. Bara. Rose. I didn't expect Rose to be in my Japanese dictionary. I have a word of the day there. Rose. Bara. That is Ra, right? Let me just double check. A bit rusty on my Japanese. Was that Ra? Pretty sure it was. Double check. Yeah, that is Ra. It was Bar, correct there? Yeah. Bara. Rose. I have a word of the day. The spirit that caused all of it, Hanahiko. There's no doubt that Hanahiko is the one who put the mark on Yashiki's arms. Makes you wonder if the god had it, or whether it was just a case of, you know, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Probably the latter. But you never know, he might have had the scar as well, the mark. What kind of chance do we have against a monster like that? Ashura says we should kill him. Is that even possible? Hey, Yashiki, I just need to know who is speaking. My train of thought is interrupted. Ashura's holding a leather-bound notebook out towards me. Also, I haven't, that's like 32 minutes in, and I haven't, you know, done a point to, you know, make it so I can sync up the audience. This is going to be awkward. But if I remember to, at this point in the video, it's like, I will bring the text back in 3, 2, 1, 0. Because, I don't know, the sound from the game actually made it easy enough to sync up the previous two parts without having to rely entirely on me doing that, but you never know. Just holding a leather-bound notebook out towards me. Read this. I picked it up in that underground room. It was caught up in a bunch of those rows of vines when I found it. It was pretty hard to get loose. Did you read it? I skimmed through a bit. It's got some interesting stuff. That's what he says, but he's not smiling at all. Well, he kind of says he's got a smirk, but then again, he's only got 2 expressions, and we've only seen one of them so far. So I simmer with quite anger. I thought he was going to show the yellow face. He does have an yellow face that he puts on. Like everyone else. Dark red marks stain the cover. Have a bad feeling, but I flip through it. Rose petals fall as they become unstuck from the pages. The notes within are very detailed. The author was intelligent and well written. Reading through, it dawns on me that this was written by H. Elementary principal. There are meticulous letters on each page tell a ghastly story of mispronounced words. I don't know if it's pronounced Astaire. I've heard the word. I'm just not sure on the pronunciation. Records of a young, adopted boy's tutoring sessions. Oh, no. The comma's there for pause. You pause at that point, like records of a young, adopted boy's tutoring sessions. The first note is from 5 years ago. It seems the boy, adopted by the principal, was small and exceedingly cute. He enjoyed wearing skirts and makeup too. There was no denying that they truly suited a dainty, red-cheeked boy like him. But the principal had a hard time accepting such fancies. That habits must be corrected young to promote sound mental health. So he called it tutoring as a cover for his warped desires. They took place in the underground room. Too many prying eyes everywhere else, anyways. There was no safer place than the school at night once the the principal stayed behind under the pretense of keeping watch and then tutor. He's a highly respected teacher, He even made appearances on TV. There's no reason to be suspicious. The only one who noticed anything strange was the boy's homeroom teacher, but she feared the principal's power and firmly kept her mouth shut. Makes you wonder if maybe, because I don't think it's like ever revealed if she was one of the victims, but you can imagine, like, that homeroom teacher being one of the people that just suddenly went missing. As the notes continue, there are more and more definite range. They paint a horrible picture. It is of a totally distorted parent and child. The child gets weaker after every session. His velvet frame is grown thinner and his red cheeks are now dark. Appearance is described in detail. There is no malice or hatred. It's just fanatical sincerity, his pride as an educator. A terrifying, smothered love. It continues like that to the very last page. There's no mention of what became of the principal and the boy. But going by the current state of H Elementary, I can hazard a guess. You don't look so well, mister. What was in that notebook? Gus appears up at me. He and the boy in the notebook are about the same age. This isn't stuff you share with a kid. I better just sum up the main points for it. That's terrible. You children are always the victims of the ego of adults. Stupid grown-ups are irredeemable, angry, sinister-looking face. Why, he'd say that makes sense. The revolting evil of the adults and the poor boy who became a victim. Is that really the end? Hanahiko and the boy in a notebook are connected. Did the boy turn into a monster? Is that even possible? Untimely deaths produce hatred. Death does not bring it to an end. Such festering sentiments can give birth to the supernatural. Monsters, ghosts, vengeful spirits. They have many names. I believe that you have all heard one or two such stories. Hanahiko is similar. Mary's words are hard to swallow, but after all those weird events, it only makes sense to accept them. If I turn my back to the truth, all that will await me is death. And Hanahiko really is a monster. Let's form a plan based on that hypothesis. Mary is silent a moment. Then her jade glass eyes shift to Mashida. Incidentally, according to Lord Yashiki's report, there are those among you who are considering killing the spirit. I shall warn you just in case, but that will be very difficult to do. Why is that? I could see Mashida narrow his eyes, but I made sure to speak up first. They are from the world of the dead. Just as the living cannot become more alive, the dead cannot be killed. The only thing you could possibly destroy is the cursed entity. So, what does that mean? It is as I told you before. Death and life existing together. If that is the origin of the mark, then a way to erase it will be there. By driving away the spirit, the curse will also be eliminated. So defeating Hanahiko is how we'll be able to destroy the mark. Setting aside how he can't be killed, what exactly is the key then? It is nothing more than a concept, so I am unsure, but I am certain of one thing. Fate ties the spirit to its place of birth. An object there may be able to fulfill the role of the key. If it is a difficult concept to grasp, but it is, but that is just how spirits are. Determining the nature of the key, that will decide your fate. I had a feeling we'll just have to keep digging around at H Elementary. We don't know what the cursed sentiments or the key to destroy the grudges are. It also makes you wonder just how far away was that school anyway, because all the events of this chapter are playing out all in just one night. Ridiculous. Getting the key and lifting the grudge is the only way to survive. You will be required to be callous to make use of the spirit's field. The way to repel the spirit lies within its grudge. Remember this and be careful. New info was added to the spirit files. Secure the underground room. So now, let's check that, I guess. Oh. suddenly teamed with Tsukasa. Interesting. We've got the same dexterity, but everything else he's got lower points in. Though he's such a smart ass, you'd think he'd be smarter. Then again, he is just a little kid. No. Because the underground room chased by Hanahiko, we fled into the underground room to find several skeletons wrapped in rose vines. The spirit of one of the victims showed me a vision of the past, discussed an image of a woman dying, entangled in roses. She was likely one of Hanahiko's victims, just like that god. Even more surprising, a guy named Mashida was hiding there. The ex-detective explained all of the victims were staff at the school or their family. Again, maybe the homeroom teacher was one of the victims. Why did they have to die such a cursed death? What's concerning is a notebook Mashida found in the room. Claimed that some kind of tutoring was going on in there. The tutor was the principal and the people his adopted son. The delicate boy loves to dress up in skirts, with the pretense of correcting bad habits. Demonstrous actions were performed on the boy in that room. Twisted. He grew weaker and weaker. His teachers should have noticed, so were they just pretending ignorance? Roses over the covered the underground room in the school. The form that shot like a bullet at Mashida. The boy in the notebook turned into a monster. Is there a way to repel a spirit with a grudge like that? That voice rang out in my head again. What did it mean by it? Their blood denies him. Well, I know. I'm not telling you though. Satoru Mashida, an ex-detective discharged over a scandal. He claims it is false accusation, but the truth remains hidden. Despite being fired, he continued to pursue his suspicions that HL men received a mark from Hanahiko there. Got to change facial expressions. There we go. There's his angry face. Now, he had a different background as well. Apparently his background was originally going to be that he killed someone with a gun and he liked it and he joined the force because he could use a gun or something like that. I don't know. But that isn't how his character ultimately ended up being here. Or is it? Dun dun dun! I don't know. But look at this! Isn't that interesting? Where's Moe going from the partner selection? You know what I find interesting? Other than the fact that he's just like... Okay, let's do this. Just to hear both of their voice actors. But yeah, Moe is suddenly not there, so he defaults to Tsukasa. But what I find interesting is, you know, go there with Moe, so it's just like, okay, go with Tsukasa next. But then you get this new character come in, and you're like, well, you know, you look like an interesting character, let's bring you along. So you completely ignore Tsukasa throughout the whole thing. I have, you know, played through the chapter with Tsukasa before, and I can't really remember too much of like what he'd say throughout it, because, you know, depending on what character you take with you, you know, the dial's gonna be different because it's a different character. Keep the spirit's grudge. It should be within H Elementary. Fate has tied them to that school. However, even I do not know what form it will take. Now piss off, get to the mystery machine in the next part. So I shall see you next time, viewers. See you next time.